Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Ford?
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Senator, for coming. I like all of the things that you're going to be working on. I think that's great. There's a few things I want to reiterate. I think I've talked about this before, but I want to do it again. During the, before the elections, the general election was over, before the primary was over, there was some talk by certain people, I'll try not to mention any names, trying to strip the various outlying counties of home rule, forcing the PLDC back onto our islands, trying to preempt our anti-fracking bill, which should not be preempted. No, there's nothing on fracking any place at the state or federal government. We passed that law. We don't want it preempted in any way, or anything else for that matter. But one thing you haven't mentioned or talked about is the home rule issue, and also the combination of GMOs and pesticide spraying. It's a very serious issue on several of the islands. It's going to become an issue here, bigger issue than it has been in the past, because some of the cases are being lost in court. And I think you said, or someplace, that you weren't going to support GMO legislation. I think that might have been in the paper this morning, because you can't get it passed. It's strange to me, and this is not a reflection on you, sir.
Ms. Ford, I need to stop. Okay, so what I mentioned is whatever issues that the senator had mentioned, this is something off subject, which he never mentioned about. Okay, and then and this is to what his proposals are. So if there's any support or opposition to his proposals. Thank you.
Thank you. I've already stated that I support his position. However, if this is going to be a two-way dialogue, we need to have input to the senator.
I understand. So that comes at the end part about if you have any drafts for them that you want to propose so that they can look at it, and then we can have another discussion on that, because I don't want this to get out of hand, and we're not talking about the subjects that was mentioned earlier. So go ahead again.
Well, thank you. You've just shut down transparency, so I'll yield.
Okay. Any other council members?
Yes, I do. I didn't know if you could see us here. I do think somehow educating people on the whole idea of preemption, that preemption is where there's actually, in fact, legislation, regulation of an area. It isn't where the state or feds could be doing something and aren't doing it, which is more the approach of that magistrate Curran, who has all of the cases on this, taking it that, well, that since there are laws on health and noxious weeds, therefore that's enough for preemption. I think people need to learn what that's all about. And just if in terms of all of the GMO issues, we don't have control over that, but we could have laws such as treble damages for non-GMO farmers whose crops are impacted, and then potentially sued by the patent holder. And I think we need to look at different ways to protect our conventional and organic farmers from contamination of their crops and elimination of biodiversity.
You know, my comments recently that I won't be introducing any GMO bills are based a little bit on political reality, not my level of concern, but also the fact that I really hope to make progress on a lot of issues such as local foods, the cottage food being related to that, support for organic farms and small farms through the Department of Agriculture. And those comments were really just a desire to keep the focus on things that are achievable and the positive actions that we might take. But I do think that the home rule issue is extremely important, and to me, perhaps the most important issue that will hit my Agriculture Committee this year. And I do hope to strengthen the authority of counties to pass any regulations that state and federal law does not prohibit them from passing, Perhaps that would affect would have affected some of the lawsuits that are occurring now, but it will at least empower counties going forward. Whatever position a county chooses to take, it shouldn't be off the table, and it shouldn't be something that the county does. You know, I feel like state and federal regulations are a floor and not a ceiling, so that if a county chooses to additionally regulate things like pesticides, they should be empowered to do so. And thank you. That's all I wanted to say on that issue. Thank you very much.